Hey pioneers, and welcome back. Today we are finishing the turbo fuel factory. So, what are we building today? Let's go to the drawing board and check that out. So, this is a full diagram of our turbo fuel factory. When I started making this, I had no idea it was going to be this far-fetched, but well, this is what we ended up with. I won't go through all of it. You can stop the video and zoom if you're actually interested. But well, to sum up, we can see that our inputs are 480 coal. That's the most we can get with a miner. 480 sulfur, most we can get with a miner right now because I'm limited by MK4 belts. And 300 oil, that's the most we can get from a normal node. And we end up having 600 turbo fuel, almost 60 plastic, that's meant for a future factory, 5 fabric, that's meant to my dimensional depot, just to have it, 15 plastic, that's also meant for my dimensional depot, and 10 packaged oil, that is for a future factory. So from all of this, what have we already done? The first spider-shaped factory is this part over here. The assemblers that do compacted coal. Hard to believe that a whole factory is just a tiny percentage of the total. But well, the last one I made is all of this other part. That's most of my factory. And what are we missing? Let's do another color so it seems smart. This tiny part over here. So let's zoom out on that segment. That's what we are going to build today. This is what we need to build and we will be done. Still, just by seeing it, I see two big mistakes. One regarding comfort and the other one regarding liquid dynamics. Let's go to the important one, liquid dynamics. We have 12 packagers feeding 32 refineries. So if we do 32 divided by 12, it means that the ratio between them is 2.66666666 and so on. This is really not good. It means that we will have to merge several packagers to several refineries, and that might give us trouble with the fluids. It's not that you can't do it, but it's kind of dangerous. And I think that there's absolutely no point in that. We can easily fix it by simply increasing this number to 16 packagers. Yes, I'm adding machines, but that's actually making everything easier, because just to begin with, 32 divided 16 is 2. That means that one packager will be feeding 2 refineries. We can do that on a separate blueprint. It will be a separate system, and it's really hard to get wrong. You won't have trouble with one packager feeding fuel into another packager. No, nothing at all. It will be just a simple, small system that can enter in one blueprint. And then the other issue is the 80 fuel generators. This is not a real issue, but that's a shit ton of machines. I don't want to be building that size of a factory. That's really uncomfortable. So what's my rule with overclocking? I usually don't overclock anything, but there are some exceptions. I do overclock miners or oil generators because you are getting more raw materials. And I do overclock power generators when it's needed. Why do I do that? Because there's actually no disadvantage at all. If you overclock any other machine, you are producing more, but you are spending an exponential amount of energy. Just to save you building time, you are burning more power. But that doesn't happen with fuel generators. You can overclock them. And I have way too many power shards because I don't use them. I have like 500 or 600 lying around. So we know that a fuel generator can be overclocked up to 250%. So if we do 80 divided 2.5, that means that it could be 32 fuel generators. And check that out. 32 refineries, 32 fuel generators. That's actually great, even for fluid dynamics. This is a 1-to-1 ratio. So yes, I will be spending power shards that I don't care. There won't be any disadvantage at all because overclocking these guys doesn't bring anything bad to the table. And it's easier to build. I'd rather plop 32 buildings than 80. So this is what we are building today. So here we are. That's where we are creating our compacted coal. This is where we are creating all of the packaged fuel and where we have to return the empty canisters. So where do we build our factory? Ideally, I think that it would be awesome if we can fit it over here. But first we have to know if we can actually fit it over here. So let's plop some foundations and do some experimenting. So this is some bad news. We have 32 refineries / fuel generators, so I thought we'll do 4 lines, each one of 8. And this is the space that 8 fuel generators take. This is aligned to that part of the rail and to that factory over there, but we can see that this won't fit. If we keep on going that, we will eventually touch that rail. So this doesn't work, and that's not cool. So maybe I was thinking that we could do it facing that way, aligned to this rail over there. Oh, that's a mistake. And maybe I think that we can fit 8 over here and continue going that way. So let's try that out. Well, to be honest, I don't really like it, but that's 8 fuel generators. We can see that we would have to go through those islands, cut the trees, meaning that the floor would have to be a little bit more elevated. And on this side, it's not that we are any better, because they would have to go several foundations. I can't even draw them, so we would have to go more elevated, and it would be really close to the rail, also to that drop pod. I don't remember the name. This stuff. It would be close to the stuff, but well, at least it fits. I'm struggling to locate 32 fuel generators. God bless, there are not 80. But well, I think that this direction is the one we will be going. Everything will have to be more elevated. We will have to chop those trees, go over the islands and go over some of that shore. But we will be building from this point to that side, and I think it will fit. We will probably have to build stairs to walk through, because if not, we will only be able to walk through the sides. It's going to be huge. I don't like it, but well, this is the trouble I got into for starting building a factory without planning all of it. So yeah, I think this will be the solution. Now, what's the next step? We know that one fuel and packager fits 2 refineries, so we will do a blueprint that contains 2 refineries and the unpackager, and that the refineries are spread this side. So I think we can still get them because we have 5 of space. Yep, we can get them. So I'll start doing the blueprint and let's see where it goes. Done. It took an embarrassingly long amount of time, even though it's one of the most basic blueprints I made. Oh, it was really hard to plan. So here is what I've come up with. Let's make it facing that way. No, that way. To begin with, it's all elevated 1 foundation, because I want the turbo fuel to be falling down to the fuel generators, so that we don't have any weird issues with headlift. Now, the distance between these two, if I didn't get it wrong, hope not, should be exactly the distance between 2 fuel generators that are one next to the other. And we will be testing that. Yep, sounds good. These are both aligned. Yay! Okay, so these two will be creating the turbo fuel. We already have the recipe, and they are fed by an unpackager that needs to be higher so that we don't have head lift issues. This one already has the recipe, and it's sending the fuel over there, spread into two. I also added a nice column because I like columns. Now the turbo fuel refineries also need compacted coal. The compacted coal will be coming from our actual logistics floor. This isn't a logistics floor, this is the floor of our factory. No, actually the floor of our factory is over there. This is the elevated floor of our factory. And well, I also added one light because lights are cool. Then the packager is going to be giving us empty canisters. They are going to come through this side, and as I want to have space to walk over here and sing a song, I sent them to the lower level. We can see that over here we have a lot of space for a merger. I didn't add it to the blueprint because depending on the orientation it can be going that side or that side, so I'd rather plop this later. And now the other input, which I definitely didn't have space for it. If I only had one foundation more of space, I was really close to be able to fit the fuel generators inside here. But well, I couldn't, so I decided to leave them off. But well, what's the plan? This, I will probably place two of these in the middle. So over here we will be handling the load balancing of the package fuel because it needs to be load balanced. And I'm probably going to do it a little bit elevated so that we can also walk through here and sing a song. Now the main idea is to do this in pairs, so I'm probably going to place the other blueprint over here. So this will also be load balancing the fuel, and well, we will be having the other line of fuel generators that side. So it seems like a pretty decent idea. What could go wrong? So now we will start plopping some blueprints. Well, actually, first drawing the foundation. Well, there's a lot of things we have to do before we plop this blueprint. But eventually, we will plop this blueprint, and that will make me happy.
Now, let's get this party started. Step 1. Plop the foundations of the logistics floor. Yes, it's a big rectangle. I might try to break the shape in the future, but no promises. This beast is huge, and I just wanna get over it. The length I still don't know, so I will just add as necessary. So now, step 2, do the actual floor of the factory. First time ever since I started this playthrough that I ran out of materials. That was pretty weird, but well, I had to prepare myself a cup of tea, and when I came back I had enough. So we have logistics floor, the real floor. So I'll start now by adding one line of fuel generators and going from there. And all of a sudden the foundations start to seem smaller, and this is only one line. Okay, next step is plopping our new blueprint. So we are facing our first problem. Well, maybe second. I placed these two separate and it doesn't look nice, but that's not a problem. This is the problem. Refineries aren't symmetrical, meaning on this side we ended up having a huge gap, while on the other side we are close to the edge. So I thought, well, I could remove the foundations from here, the bottom foundations, and just replop them. But we will end up having the same issue with this over here. And this has a light. I don't want to be doing all of the lights. So I honestly don't know what to do here. Maybe I could leave that as symmetry, but it's going to bug me for the rest of my life. Or I could, the other option is clip a foundation, just decide we want to go up to there and clip it. Yeah, maybe I end up clipping, but I don't like it because we probably can't end up with a whole number of foundations, no need to clip. But I don't want to have to rebuild this each time. I didn't think of that. But I think clipping will be the answer. So this, that is the small size, we choose this as the official gap. The walls will be over here, so this is going to be quite small. And then clip over the other side to make it even. I don't know, need to think about it. Well, I figured it out. I simply decided to center this blueprint, and what I end up doing is shifting a little bit the fuel generators. So yeah, this one is kind of in the edge, while the other one isn't. But that kind of asymmetry doesn't bug me that much. I'd rather have an extra gap over here and not having foundations that are asymmetrical and not having clipping. Clipping would be really disgusting. Well, not disgusting, but harder to work with. So I think this is going to be the final result. Now, this is kind of a gamble. I need to guess how much space we are going to leave here in the middle. I think that with 2 foundations should be enough. So, well, let's try that out. That's how we are looking for the time being. I think that probably I can remove 1 layer of foundations from the blueprint. Maybe I don't modify the blueprint, this is easy to remove. But now, before continuing, I have to make sure I can load balance these 8 packagers on this gap I left while doing it elevated, because I want to be able to run. So, well, experimenting with load balancers. Oops. Yeah, we had more than enough space. This would be the input that splits half and half. Each one of these splits half to that side and half to that side. And then this last one splits between this machine and that machine. So here we will have 3 columns, so maybe it's going to be a little bit tricky to walk, but we will still be able to walk. So we have just finished half of the factory. Now I have, oh no, I have to add 1 layer of fuel generators and then all of these once again. So yep, there's some building ahead. And this is how it looks like. Most of the heavy lifting is already done. I forgot some pipes over there. So not all of the heavy lifting is done. I also overclocked the fuel generators. I can't believe we can't copy and paste. I thought we could. Why, Coffee Stain? Why? But well, now I will be putting those pipes that I completely forgot about and start getting all of the lifts to the logistics floors. So let's get on working. So all of the connections are already going to our logistics floors, but I made something silly and I love it. Let's see, for example, over here. This is me merging all of the empty canisters and I'm sending them on top to later send them down, to later send them to the top again, and to later send them down in the middle of the factory. And I made that with both packaged fuel and empty canisters, and I did it asymmetrically on purpose, meaning this one is packaged fuel, this one is empty canisters, that one over there is empty canisters, and that one over there is packaged fuel. Why did I do that? Well, why wouldn't I do that? I think that it's going to look pretty cool. I never did a cycle of canisters going all the way around, and I think it's going to be awesome just as decoration. You will be seeing stuff moving all over the place. If not, it's mostly pipes, everything is steel, and I don't know, I think it might look really nice. So we have a crazy roller coaster of canisters, both fuel and empty. So what do we have to do now? Well, as usual, place a lot of lights, and I mean a lot of lights, and then start connecting all of these belts. And here we go. Not like it took ages to do. But well, we are almost close to finishing. And then, well, still the decoration part. But from the logistics point of view, this is pretty straightforward. All of this is compacted coal that needs to be load balanced. We have more compacted coal over there. And the compacted coal comes from the spider factory. So I'm going to connect it over here or over here. And then in the middle we have the 4 belts for the packaged fuel and empty canisters that those need to go over there. So I'll place them, I don't know, maybe here. So let's plop some belts. Done. All of the logistics are already placed. But you might be wondering, why are there so many belts? We didn't have much going on here. And that's because I made another silly thing. So basically our fuel goes through a whole roller coaster. It enters there, it goes to the very end of the factory. And once it reaches the end of the factory, it goes back again to the middle, to this side, where it goes to its final destination. We will be having the packaged fuel going that way and the empty canisters going that way. This is by far the most stupid thing I've done so far, and I love it. And it actually was quite useful because it solved the asymmetry with the fuel generators. For example, this one that's close to this side doesn't have a roller coaster, while the next one will have. So yeah, this one has. So there we go. A really stupid factory that will have tons of canisters going all over the place. And I will probably need thousands of them to start up the system, but I don't regret anything. This looks amazing. So, what's the next step? Basically, yeah, we are already, everything is connected. This should be functional. So we arrived to that point in time where I have to decorate it, plop some walls and roof, and spend a lot of time. But first I'm gonna spend even more time looking at these builds. They are amazing! So, well, now let's see what cool factory I can come up with. Wish me luck! And here we go! That's a big factory. It has, that's the rail where the canisters come in. This is the rail for the compacted coal. Both of them have hypertubes, so everything is connected. And then, well, I tried to make it a little bit asymmetrical. I added these little gaps where I'm putting power storage, just to cut from the box shape. On the sides here, I made some patterns with metal beams and lights. And I think there's not much to see in the outside, and I'm running out of fuel. Here we are. And on the sides, yeah, I made these shapes, which I think they look pretty nice. So let's get to the inside. So we are entering from the spider-shaped building. We go through the rail, we will have the compacted coal here on the side. And here we are. Unfortunately, the moment I connected the lights, it got really laggy. I'm at 40 frames per second, I'm usually at 90 or 120. So I'm actually considering just turn them off because this is really bad. But well, I added some rails to go on the top connecting the buildings. Here we have a main one. There are plenty of lights everywhere. That wasn't a good decision. Then we should have some stairs on the side. Yep. Over here is where I added the power storage just to break the shape. On these segments over here I placed some computers
There's one over there and one over here. And this is absolutely symmetrical, so we will have them on the other side. Then let's get to the logistics level. There's not much going on here, but I did add these huge pools, because if not it was too empty, so I needed to add something. And the water comes from a little entrance over here. Yep, there it is. And I also, to initialize this factory, we will need a ton of empty canisters. So I place a container right there in the end to start up everything over there. Wow, it takes a long time to go from one side to the other. So this basically splits into my two canisters lines and goes directly to the other building. So just to finish up, let's take the other hyper tube. This will be fun to watch once we have all of the canisters going through the roller coaster. There we go. So let's talk blueprints. I usually wouldn't have kept all of these, but as I'm sharing my blueprints, I thought, well, maybe somebody wants them. So here, well, in rail, I added a blue rail. I'm using not the green one because I didn't like it that much. Then over here, we have the different patterns I use on the sides. These are meant to be, you are meant to cut a 1 meter slice and encase it in the frame. That's why they look ugly, but once you plop it right, it will look nice. Then I also have some walls, the walls I used. It saves kind of a lot of time. Then over decorations, you will see the lights I used. And on production, you will see the refineries and packager blueprint. And there might be some new ones that I don't remember, but you should be able to find them. So why isn't the factory on? I'm really eager to turn it on, but we will do that on a later video because all of this is meant to be done with a full pressure startup, and I want to first explain what a full pressure startup is. So after this video, I will be doing a fluid dynamics video, and then we will turn this bad boy on. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you on the next one.